sensitivity analysis always give depth to our analysis, because it's always a legitimate question that when you are giving a report and your report is based on the fact that, for example, interest rate is 10%. If you go and say what happens if the interest rate becomes 9%, what happens if the interest rate becomes 11%, it is part of sensitivity analysis. So when we are working in this field, visualization is a very common way of showing it. For example, it compares two options, alternative 1 and alternative 2, and it says what happens to their internal rate of return if the project lifetime is 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25. So it is not completely new topic. No, you already know about that. And you know how to do all the calculations. Here, you just need to manage what you know in a structured way to make your report, to make your analysis deeper. So, we are going to talk about this and do some examples and deepen our knowledge in the field. And as I told you, this is the main question with sensitivity analysis. To what extent do uncertainties, variations in data affect decision? When we are checking now, our analysis is based on interest rate of 10%. What happens if the interest rate is 9%? What happens if the interest rate is 11%? So it is about uncertainties. And of course, I'm sure it has crossed your mind that, for example, when we are saying the interest rate for the following 10 years, 20 years, 30 years is 5%, you doubted it for sure. That how come you can be this much sure that for this long period, range of time, you believe and you consider everything fixed? So sensitivity analysis steps in to solve that problem as much as possible, to handle the uncertainties. One specific form of sensitivity analysis is break-even analysis. It is a type of sensitivity analysis that we are focusing on changing one variable. And one basic question is this: when the alternative are economically equivalent. So mostly when you are seeing such charts like these, that they go even and they cross each other, it is mostly about break-even analysis. And we are going to do examples over them and you are going to understand them better. And for example, one item that they put in break-even analysis is project life. Because every project has a projected lifetime. For example, 8 years. But we all know it's possible. It is not for sure. It can become 6. It can become 7. It can become 6, 9, 10. So it's a great case for doing sensitivity analysis and checking different probabilities, likelihood, and compare two alternatives and say at what value of the variable they are the same. And it would be very insightful and enlightening financial decision making. Sensitivity analysis. Remember, it is for handling uncertainty, because we cannot be sure 100% that the interest rate gonna be 10%. We are gonna do it also for 9%. What happens? We are gonna do it also for 11%. But another point that I should tell you is that when you are doing it for 10%, it says go for alternative A. When you do it for 9%, again it says go for alternative A. You are doing it for 11%, go for alternative A. You are doing it for 8%, go for alternative A. So with great certainty, you are gonna suggest project A. But where we have a problem, when with 10% it says A, with 8% it says B, with 9% it says B, with 11% it says A. So you cannot firmly say that go for A, go for B. So one of the reasons that we are doing also sensitivity analysis is the fact to notice that how much our recommendation is robust regarding changing different variables. And if it is robust, absolutely you can confidently suggest your alternative. But if not, you need to be way more cautious regarding your suggestions. I have a lovely starting example for you here. Okay, we have these two options, and exactly consider it as you are the financial manager and you want to give your analysis on this case. The CEO has given you this case, and it says that for a manufacturing facility that we want to make, we have two options now. We can make it in full capacity, and it cost us $140,000, and we can make it in two stages, and now we just need to pay $100,000 and $120,000 n years from now. You see, uncertainty. This is the uncertainty. And another point that I should tell you, do not also think that you are giving financial advice to your boss, or you are working as the financial analyzer directly. Many times you are the manager yourself, and you want to do the financial analysis independently on your own and not being dependent on the other people. That's the point. For example, you can do many management businesses, no matter you are an engineer, no matter you are a business administrator, either bachelor, either master. You are the manager, and you are the person should have some sort of financial management instinct to be able to do the analysis. So that case, as I told you, for example, your boss is telling you, help me with that type of thing. That's just one scenario. Another scenario is that just you are the person who wants to do the investment, and you want to see what you should do with this decision making. And that makes such skills more attractive, that they are working while you are working for the others, and also when you are self-employed and you yourself are the boss. Okay, so now we have these two things. We have this certainty, so it is a case of sensitivity analysis. So what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to compare these two cases together and come up with the idea that when full capacity is better and when two stage is better. You may ask, what approach I should take in my analysis. Think yourself, now you are almost an expert in this field, and I should call you fellow financial managers from now on. So based on everything you have learned, come up with the formula, come up with the technique or anything you think work here, and I'm gonna give you hints step by step. But since it is the first one and you are gonna found the basics of sensitivity analysis here, so that curiosity and trial and error would help you a lot to handle this case. So you have this, and go for the easiest way. For example, if you think net present worth work here perfectly, go for that. And just think about it a little, and I will give you more and more information. Okay, I'm sure you have checked it and noticed that you can handle it. On one side, we had this initial cost here, and on the other side, you just need to calculate the present worth of this, and also use this interest rate, because interest rate is not here the sensitivity variable we are checking. 8%, and good luck, because if you remember, we have done some sort of sensitivity analysis in that visualization case, but do it any way you think works. Good luck. Here is the table we need for doing the sensitivity analysis. What is the variable we are doing the sensitivity analysis or break-even analysis? Why break-even analysis is a better term? Because here we are changing one variable. So when there is only one changing variable, so the word break-even analysis is better, and especially that we are looking for the point that these two options are the same. So here we have the year, and you see I list all of them here, and due to the limited space that I have here, I selected 5 to 27. You can do it in longer ranges because you don't have the limit that I have because of recording. And for A is just the option A that we have. You just pay $140,000 here, and it is the same because you just paid now. So the present worth of option A, that is full capacity, is 140,000, no matter what is the length of the project. The impact the length of project will have is on two-stage one, because as you can see here, in two-stage one, you pay $100,000 now, and the other payment, that is $120,000, is N years from now, that we are not sure about it, and we need to think more about it to come up with the more exact value for that. So here the rate is 8%, the number of period can be this, and for each of these values that you see here, we are going to calculate the present worth of that second payment. And here also we have the FV, and that's it. So as you can see, now, first of all, go and find the break-even point. The break-even point is the point that these two things are the same. Two options are not different. Okay, 140,000, 44, 140. Okay, we notice that the break-even happens in this range. Why? Because in 14, two-stage is more expensive, and in 15, full capacity is more expensive. So it is something between 14 and 15 year. Okay, so when you want to give your analysis, you are going to do it that way. If the age of the project is less than 14-year-old, option A is the more economic option, and if it is more than 15 years, option B is the more economic way. What if the age, the length of project is 14? Still you can say that project A, alternative A is better, and 15, alternative B is better. So what now you are seeing in front of you, my friends, is sensitivity analysis. I didn't tell you any new formula, just a better engineering of the knowledge you already have to create a structure that is generating insight. It is data, it is information revealing, and helps you with better decision making. By the way, I give you right to criticize me why I didn't go for any of those adventurous approaches that we have already learned. What are those adventurous things that we have learned together? That incremental thing, correct? You are going to say that, okay, here we have 140,000 paying now, and here we have 100,000 paying now. So just remove that 100,000 and just go with the fact that now you are paying $40,000. $40,000 in case A, and you put it here. So for everything down, it would be $40,000 because I removed that part. And for this part, you are not gonna put the $100,000 anymore. 8%, number of period here, PMT 0, and FV would be minus 120,000. And now we go and exactly the same thing happens. You see? And of course, the way we did it on the right is better. Even you can make it another time. You tell me you still could do it in an easier way. What is that easier way? You would say that all of them have this $10,000. So when this $10,000 is common between all of them, okay, just take it out as a factor. So what should I do? Okay, I just put here 4. And we go here, and you see it in many statements, financial statements. And here, I'm not going to put $120,000. I'm just going to put 12. And for the year. So you see, I call this way of handling the things more adventurous. It feels good. So the comparison would be way easier because in those situations, you feel more dominant on what you are doing. But here, we have 8% for 40,000. That's correct. NPR, no PMT, and also we have 120,000 here. So yeah, everything looks great. And Again, here you can see the differences, 4 and 409, 4 and 348. You see, it is more catchable to see the differences. And as the original page that we had, now you see the answers here. So everything happens. We discussed it even with the more adventurous way that we handle it. And the formula. Okay, and here is the visualization of that. Full capacity now is fixed at this level of 140. And it goes here. And here you have the net present worth of the two-stage, or net present cost of the two-stage, based on different project life. And the crossing point is here. So again, even with this chart that you see in front of you, you see before 15, two-stage is more expensive, so we go for this one. And after 15, or more accurately, it is 1427. We go for two-stage. You may ask, what about that 1427 year that we received? Because we noticed that the break-even point is between 14 years and 15 years. But how you can specify it with this level of 27? There are some mathematical techniques for doing so, but for now, forget about those mathematical approaches. If you are good with them, good for you. Do them, use them. But since I don't want to distract our attention from the core financial analysis point to math, visualization, or the other skills that are tools that financial managers use, and still we are focusing on the logic and rationale in financial analysis. So at this point, I want to tell you how to do it with just the formula. And you can see it here, but also over the Excel file. I'm going to show you, and you please also do that. So it gives you also a sense of practice. And in our case, we had $40,000 on one side, and on the other side we had $120,000. Now we want to see what is the exact number of periods that at the interest rate of 8% makes these two things equal. You are very good now with this type of formula. And we had IRR, now we have NPR, number of period. And as you can see here, always read these helps that Excel provides. Since it is the first time I'm reading it for you, returns the number of periods for an investment based on periodic constant payment and a constant interest rate. So we have all the information. Rate is 8, PMT is 0, and PV $40,000, and FV $120,000. I chose the opposite sign for that just to create that balance. And when we do that, it is 14.27% of a year. So that's the number you saw over there. So now, from now on, you know how to calculate the exact number even without using any mathematical formula.